In this video, I'm going to talk about what ayahuasca can actually do for us and how it can help us. And I know that this is a pretty loaded question, so I'm going to do my best to break this down in an easy to understand way. So I'm going to cover the four primary dimensions of our life experience, which is the physical, the mental, the emotional, and the spiritual. Now, you probably know that many people seek ayahuasca as a sort of emotional remedy or a type of therapy, because that is what it is commonly known as. It is known as this beautiful medicine that you drink and you go through all of your traumas and your memories and you purge a lot of stuff and you feel a lot better afterwards. After all, that's why people travel halfway around the world to experience this medicine, right? But it's more than that. So ayahuasca doesn't just work on one part of your body. It works on the whole collective of your wellness or your ecosystem or your health, however you want to put it. So ayahuasca is really just removing the crap from inside your body, and this works with your physical body as well. When I was working in the medicine space in Ecuador, I met quite a few people who came for the reason of healing something physical with their body. So often people had some sort of problem, whether it was some sort of dysfunction or dysregulation or illness, and they wanted to seek the medicine as a way to work on it or to heal it, or find a deeper underlying reason to why they had this particular problem in their lives and what they were actually dealing with. Of course, as every person is different with a different life experience, these issues ranged from sexual issues to PCOS to some sort of physical illnesses or problems that they had with their bodies. Some people wanted to recover from substance abuse in the past, where they believed they had some sort of brain damage or they had some sort of negative effect on their body after abusing substances for a long time. Other people had some sort of chemical issues. So I met people who had worked with asbestos or some sort of dangerous chemicals, other people who worked with radiation and had some sort of radiation sickness from that. I met people who had cancer or other terminal illnesses, and they just wanted to see if this medicine would help them when conventional medicine failed them. So as you can see, there wasn't just one reason why people sought this medicine, but it was really a mixed bag. So in my observations, people who were seeking the medicine for these reasons, sometimes it helped, sometimes it didn't really move the needle a whole lot. It really did depend on the individual. And of course, when we are using this medicine, there are so many different factors that come into play. So for example, one person I know, he had radiation poisoning or some sort of sickness from radiation because that's what he did in his work for a long time. And during his first ayahuasca ceremony, he said that he saw all of the radiation come out in his vomit and that his vomit bucket was glowing. Of course, I don't think his vomit was actually glowing if anyone else was to look at it, but for him, under the medicine, he said it was. And he said he could smell it, and he said that he felt a whole lot of relief after he purged and believed solely that he did purge out these chemicals or this radiation that was in his system. Other people said that their sexual issues or their dysfunctions seemed to be better after working with this medicine for a little while. So whether it was an issue with erectile dysfunction, whether it was something like PCOS, or something that we typically understand as being incurable, or some sort of dysfunction with the body that we are born with and we can't really overcome, some people said that they did experience a lot of movement and that either their menstrual cycle started to regulate more or they started to get more feelings in certain parts of their body. I've even heard stories of people who were blind being able to see again after taking the medicine, or paraplegics being able to walk again. I do believe them. I do believe that ayahuasca can actually have a huge influence on our body in ways that we don't yet understand, and that it can clear out a lot of crap that's in there. The root cause of a lot of physical illness that we experience has a deeper underlying root to it. It has a deeper underlying reason, which is why we experience the manifestation, which is the physical body. So I believe that if we look at the physical body as sort of the outer manifestation of our spiritual wellness or our emotional wellness, I think a lot of the illnesses that people experience are some sort of manifestation. So in this way, when people seek the medicine, and it works on the deeper layers of their consciousness that they may have never really gotten to before, or they have never addressed because they never knew that it was a problem with some sort of deeper layer of their subconscious, and they actually heal that, then maybe, just maybe, the resulting effect is actually doing something on the physical body and clearing out things. And of course, I'm not saying that this is a silver bullet, because it really does depend. I know people who had some sort of physical illness or physical problem or dysfunction who drank the medicine and nothing really happened either. So it does seem to be inconsistent at best, the effects that people get from it, and if it does help them physically. But generally speaking, ayahuasca is good at getting something out of our body that shouldn't be there. And when we are speaking about more complicated hereditary illnesses or things that have been with us for a very long time, it's a bit of a grey zone there. I do believe that it can help with a lot of things. I have heard a lot of testimonials about it and people saying that they experience a complete change in some sort of issue that they had for their entire life after taking this medicine. But don't assume that this medicine is just going to cure you and every layer of your consciousness, especially just in 1 or 2 sit-ins. Because I've taken this medicine probably like 25 times now, and I can tell you that there are still things that I am dealing with. So it hasn't worked out, like, it's done a lot for me, but it hasn't solved everything in my life. And you need to acknowledge that it is a process. It can illuminate things, it can help you see deeper layers of a problem or why problems are manifesting in your body, but it may not be able to remove that problem for you. You might need to do the work and heal something deeper that is the root issue of this manifestation, if that makes sense. The next body I want to address is the mental body. So this is a common reason why people seek out ayahuasca, because they have some sort of mindsets or limiting belief systems or issues with self-love or anything related to the mind, really. Generally, in this case, ayahuasca is a powerful medicine that can really help us reshape our mental ecosystem and experience different belief systems and healthier mindsets and different things that can actually propel our lives forward, instead of keeping us stuck and stagnant and in the same place where we are experiencing a lot of discomfort or suffering or misery or other things that we just don't want to experience and generally reduce the quality of our lives. So for example, when working with this medicine, I've met a lot of people who have self-worth issues. And a lot of people hate themselves and they have a pretty miserable life experience because of this. Of course, because this self-worth or this lack of self-worth bleeds into every other area of their life experience, whether it's in their social life or whether it's in their professional life or whatever they do, it has some sort of effect. So often we don't realize just how powerful the mental sphere is within our life experience and how much of an influence it has on every other part of our life experience. So ayahuasca often helps people address certain limiting belief systems or certain problems in their life that are related to the mental domain, which are related to their own belief systems or the mindsets. And often these mindsets or belief systems are ingrained during early childhood. So a lot of people grow up in ways that the foundation sort of screwed up a little bit, where they might have had a negative upbringing or they were raised by abusive parents or so forth, or they have a lot of trauma because of that. And they end up growing up in a way where the mind systems are all convoluted and they're not serving their growth. So they might think that the world is a bad place or that people are inherently evil. They might think that who are they to achieve anything in life? Who are they to even have dreams when there is so much competition in the world? They might believe that they just inherently suck and they aren't worthy of love, that they aren't worthy of having a good life experience. Whatever form it takes, there are a lot of ways that our mind can influence our life experiences. So people often seek the medicine when they have some sort of mental dysfunction or some sort of mindset or belief system that is causing them a lot of suffering or a lot of pain. And in my experiences, and from the people that I have worked with and spoken with who have taken this medicine, ayahuasca does often tend to move the needle when it comes to the mental domain. So for example, someone who has a lack of self-worth, if they sit with ayahuasca a few times, often they get to this deeper place where they really need to go into this. They need to go into these mind systems and these belief systems and identify where these mindsets first started to consolidate. Because this is how many problems in our lives arise. They start off as seeds that we plant or that maybe are planted at some point in our lives, and we start watering them so they start growing, they start rooting, and before we know it, the entire garden bed is covered by weeds. Often years down the track, these belief systems or these mindsets that started off as a seed many years ago have become a core part of who we are. So we can't distinguish the self from a belief system or a mindset. Instead, we believe that life just sucks, that this is the way that life is supposed to be experienced, that if you suffer with self-worth, life just is supposed to suck. That's the way it is. If you have a limiting belief system, such as money is scarce, or that people are inherently bad, or that everyone's trying to take advantage of you, then you will believe that this is just the way things are, because it has become a solid part of your core identity that you can't distinguish from yourself anymore. You can't distinguish a belief system from the self. And this is where it becomes a problem, because we can't identify it as a belief system. But in many cases, what ayahuasca does is pull it apart and point to us, saying that this is in fact a belief system. This is where it started, this is how it became, and this is what you need to do to actually work on it and to heal it. So this illumination is such a big part in working on yourself and actually healing these detrimental layers of your well-being that are not serving your highest growth or your highest happiness. Therefore, in my experiences, many people seem to make a lot of movement when it comes to their belief systems, especially if they have a solid reason to why they're seeking the medicine and they know exactly why they're there. For example, I hate myself. This is why I'm seeking the medicine, because I hate hating myself and I want this to change, but I don't know how to make it change. They take the medicine, they are often shown a bunch of different things. Perhaps it's about their childhood, perhaps it's about some sort of event that happened in their life that created this seed, that planted the seed in their mind. Or perhaps they see different ways of how they can actually start working on themselves, or they start connecting with this divine love that is pulsating through the universe that each and every one of us can connect with, that can help them acknowledge that there is love out there, that we can actually change these paradigms and these ways of thinking to become happier people. Imagine that the spiritual body is like the core of the onion, right? And every other layer is a manifestation or an outer layer. So if there is some fundamental problem with your soul, or your connection to your soul, so to speak, then it is going to cause other problems in your life. Often this relates to your sense of meaning, your sense of purpose, your sense of mission, just how you feel in general. Because people who don't have or people who are disconnected from their soul are generally unhappy. They generally find life as completely meaningless and feel depressed. This is something you see over and over and over again, and there's a common reason why people seek out ayahuasca, because they want to learn more. They want to try and understand themselves and their consciousness to a deeper layer. And often when people seek ayahuasca, it's because there's some existential reason to it, because they don't find any purpose in life anymore, because they don't find any meaning in life anymore, because they went through some sort of major event, such as divorcing their husband or wife, or maybe their life came crashing down on them and they had to change everything. Maybe someone died in their life and it really made them think about what happens after we die. Is there something more to reality? This is a pretty common reason why people seek out this medicine. And when I was working with these medicines, I met quite a lot of people who were mourning. They either lost their kid, or they lost their partner, or someone close to them. Sometimes it was like an animal, their pet. And they just felt this lack of inherent meaning in life. They didn't know where to turn. They didn't know what to do. So they turned to ayahuasca. They turned to some sort of deeper meaning in their life and seeing if they could uncover something in themselves to help them get through this particular time in their lives. And likewise, I met quite a few people who had terminal illnesses, and they weren't seeking ayahuasca to necessarily heal the illnesses, but they just wanted to get a taste of death. They wanted to see what's on the other side. And often people as well seek out the medicine because they have a fear of death. They don't know what's going to happen. And I think it's quite natural for us to have a fear of death, but this is one thing that ayahuasca is very good at, is it helps us overcome the fear of death. It helps us go into these states of consciousness and these places where we feel inspired, where we feel that there is more to life than just this material layer of reality that we are currently experiencing. And this is a very universal theme with ayahuasca, is when people are seeking out this medicine, they are connecting to something beyond reality. They are connecting to different spirits or different dimensions or deities or all of these different things that exist out there, and it really opens up a person's consciousness. You need to understand that this is why people practiced the medicine in the first place. After all, it is a shamanic medicine. It is a spiritual medicine. It is a spirit. Ayahuasca is a spirit. This is why people take it, because it helps us connect to a deeper part of our soul or our consciousness and realize that we are all connected in some sort of way, that there are deeper levels of reality under this level of reality. And ayahuasca really does show us some fundamental truths, because some of the experiences are quite profound. Believe me, they are quite profound. I'm not saying that every experience is. So for example, you might take ayahuasca and nothing will happen. You might take it 3 times and nothing happens any time, and you say, really, that was it? I feel no different. But sometimes you'll take ayahuasca and boom, you'll be in another dimension. Within 10 seconds, you'll be in reality, and then just like everything changes and boom, you're in another place. So this is one of the profound abilities of ayahuasca, is to transport consciousness into other realms of existence, where in these realms there are tangible spirits and things moving around. Some spirits are neutral, some spirits are benevolent, some spirits are dark, but usually the dark ones don't come into the ceremony space because it's protected. Then we can see different layers of reality. We can go into the future, we can go into the past, we can go into all of these different parts of consciousness that we never even knew existed, and we can go into these deeper roots of consciousness that we are all connected to, this more divine state of consciousness, that we all are underneath this individuality, underneath this separation, underneath the ego. So ayahuasca helps us bring it back and step out of life in a way, and actually see our existence from a different point of view. We see the broader picture of it all, and we see, oh, okay, this is just a tiny blip of existence, being in this meat suit that I'm experiencing right now. Suddenly all of my problems don't seem to matter that much, because once you get that broader sort of picture of reality and everything happening and the spiritual dimensions and so forth, then you realize that nothing here really matters that much. We're just experiencing consciousness in another form, and it is very, very temporary. And to me, this is one of the most beautiful things that this medicine can do, is it helps us realize that we are spirits, that everything is sacred, that life is supposed to be a beautiful experience and a temporary experience. And it helps you develop practices and understandings and cultivate ways of embracing your spirituality, of actually connecting deeper with your soul and putting you on a new trajectory or a new path in life that allows you to really just step into yourself, embody yourself to a deeper level, embody your soul self. And as long as you keep walking that path that ayahuasca can put you on, and you don't just revert to old patterns and programs and different things after the ceremonies, such as bad habits or drinkings or detrimental mindsets or ways of thinking of things. And the more time you spend working with this medicine, the more you'll start to see that it does really create this connection to the divine. It does create this connection to whole new worlds of understanding and information that we don't readily have available in Western society, because it's not a part of our culture, it's not a part of our society. To sum up, I want to say that if you are genuinely on a path of growth and learning and self-development and spiritual growth, then I think ayahuasca is a very beautiful tool that we can use to help us grow, to help us evolve, to help us develop. And as it does work on every dimension of our body, whether it's the physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual body, it's good to know that ayahuasca is a mixed bag. You might have an intention or to heal a particular area of your life, and it might not do that. It might show you something completely different or unrelated, or it might just show you a bunch of things that you have no idea what it even means, and it's just confusing. So it's good to just not have expectations when you are working with this medicine, and just go into it with an open mind, knowing that it really does have a mind of its own. Like, it treats every person different, every experience is different. It's not like any other sort of plant medicine like mushrooms or peyote or wachuma or different things like that, that you sort of know what to expect with it, because ayahuasca is a mixed bag and you never really know what to expect. Every experience can be so different from one another that you really just don't know what you're stepping into. But it's good to have an intention to say, okay, this is why I am seeking out the medicine, but to not have an expectation for it, to say, okay, I'm seeking out the medicine for this reason, but I'm going to let it be what it is, and I'm not going to expect anything to happen from this intention. So thank you, God bless, and I hope you have a wonderful day. Take care of yourself.